So the first thing in terms of unfinished business is to understand that any unfinished business we have is in fact a karmic account. Okay? So that means all the unfinished business in our lives, they are preventing us to reach karmatic stage. And at the same time, karmatic stage is the point in which you don't owe anything. Nobody owes anything. You are clean. Everything in yourself is clean and complete. We know, as per Baba's knowledge, that everybody left one body and goes to another body with a little backpack, right? So in Golden Age and Silver Age, this backpack is very light because these are the main sanskars of the soul. This is the dharna the soul is going to have during these half a cycle. So 2,500 years, the soul leaves one body, goes to another body, and carries only the basic sanskars, the most beautiful sanskars, the most elevated sanskars created in Confluence Age. But from Copper Age onwards, things change. The type of karma that we start to experience, which Baba generalizes as vikarma, means that we don't finish our business. Probably from Copper Age onwards, we have had unfinished business everywhere, all the time. So in fact, the log of our account is very big. It's very, very huge. Because it's so many debts and so many people are in debt with us too. And things and matter, you know. Not only that, karma is very complex, very intricate. You have karma because you did an action, but you also have karma if you didn't do the action, but you inspire someone to do the action. You have karma if you are responsible for that person also. So many karmic accounts we have. That's why Baba used to say was the most impure soul. Not in the sense of a logic way of seeing pure and impure, but in terms of the cycle, because he was the first one. So basically everything that happened for humanity was on him, you know? They were like a burden for him. So we reach Confluence Age full of karmic accounts, unfinished business everywhere, with people that you don't see for 200 years, maybe. Situations, matter, and everything you have. Anyone here has problems with your body, for instance? With your money? This is all from past lives. So it is an unfinished business. So when one soul reaches that magical stage in which they just fly away, they go. That's really, really beautiful. That should be our aim. It should be what we look ahead. I forgot, but I remember now when Sister Marta, she was reading from Spain, she was reading Muli for us last Saturday. And she was reminding us how Dadi Kumarka used to be kind of obsessed with karmatic stage. She was really, really too much in terms of karmatic stage. But nowadays, I think we don't think too much about that. We don't think about that at all. And that's the biggest moment in which the soul breaks with all other souls. The matter, situations, everything. And the soul is ready for a new cycle, a different cycle. Okay, so that's one way of seeing unfinished business. But there is a second way. So what happens? Baba also clarifies in the Muli that really the only soul who finished all, absolutely all karmic accounts has been Brahma Baba. That's it. So we use the expression karmatic stage for the seniors, so for what we call nowadays ancestor souls. But in fact, it's not a full karmatic stage. It's a karmatic stage in terms of this life. So we finish the life, then we still, Dadirata Mohini will have to have another life, she'll have to be born again, but she'll have just a very few things, and it's not like settling really. It's just like she has to leave again. She has to be part of the advanced party. She'll have some part there. I don't know, maybe tomorrow when Baba sends a message, he will clarify a little bit, but he's not clarifying much anymore. Beforehand, he used to be a little more concerned. So he used to tell very clearly, like that Kumarka. So he told us she was born in a male body. He told us her family is very important. So he told us so many things about that Kumarka. But nowadays we don't have that clarity much. So there is one brother there in Madhuban. He used to be in Gyansarovar. Now, most of the time he's in Shantivan. He's one of our senior brothers. And I know he has been to Europe recently, Mohanbai. So Mohanbai, when he was in Peace Village, oh, and I'm going very fast, right? So you tell me, you do this. Hey, wait. Okay, sorry. So Mohanbai, and when he was in Peace Village, he gave a very nice class. He met the mama. He was a child, so he saw mama. And so mama left the body. And I know that for a few years, mama used to come. That just like that Kumarka, she came for 5 years. But mama, in her case, she used to come quite often. In fact, there is one scene they used to tell that mama came into the kitchen and she was there. They were preparing food and mama was there into someone else's body. But eventually, after 2 years, Baba revealed that mama had to go and take another body. We know that mama had a special part in the advanced party. Mama, Baba said, will be the leader of the advanced party. But Mohanbai was also telling us that Baba revealed through a message that Mama still had few karmic accounts. So we tell that she reached karmatic stage. That's what we Brahmins tell her. But in fact, something remained there. But it's not grave, it's not very serious. So that's the point in which we should be more concerned now. We will be reaching the unfinished business over, finished totally, only at the end of the cycle. And the end of the cycle, we don't know when it will be. We don't know. Nobody can tell you it will be next year or in 20 years. Nobody. Okay? But there is a second type of unfinished business. Is that business that I can finish them so I can reach a point in which only a few karmic accounts remain, only those that link me to this world, only those karmic accounts that link me to, well, I have to be born in another family, I have to be born at certain place. So that's still very elevated, very high. And that's the case of our main daddies. That's why they took birth again. But they are karmatit. They are not going to suffer. They are not going to have problems in terms of, they won't cry, they won't need to ask for things. Things will come for them naturally. They won't eat broccoli for sure. They will have just the best and the good and the fine things. of the world, you know, and they will have a special part. It doesn't mean they will be super rich. I don't think so, but they will be very well done. Their parents won't suffer. They won't feel suffering at all anywhere. And maybe some of you will think, where is this place? Well, there are places in which people they don't feel any problem really, and this is Kali. So these people they are still in confluence age, even so they are in the advanced party, they are still in confluence age. But that's still a very high level. So the highest level is bye bye cycle, goodbye, I finished. The other high level is in which I finished all karmic accounts but a few, just the necessary ones for me to be born again. The big example Baba gives in Bhakti is when someone used to sacrifice themselves for Shiva. So that sacrifice was in a well, no, in Shivkashi. So they used to jump, they used to cut their head, and so they used to suffer a lot, and that's it. So Baba tells in the Murlis, he explains to us that they finish their karmic accounts, but then they have to start all over again. But still, if they have to start all over again, new karmic accounts, still they have to have a mother waiting for them there. So when they leave their body, their mother is already waiting. She's already pregnant. So there is a little karmic account that remains just enough for starting over, all over again. So that's the second time of unfinished business we can reach. But then there is the third type, and the third type is more for us Brahmins. So many years ago, I mean, when I say many years ago, can be 20 or can be 5. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad in terms of how much time ago it was. But I was there, and then Shashiben, I went to meet her somewhere. She was coming from her brother's funeral, her elder brother's funeral. And she was sharing how when he left the body, he didn't leave anything, any unfinished business. Everything was settled. And she was sharing with some pride, spiritual pride, that my brother did that. And I start to think for myself, well, I have to do the same. Because we have so many things that, that conversation we didn't have. I'm still owing chocolate to Rogelio. Maria is owing me some olives. Oh my God, olives from Greece. Oh. So, there is always something we are missing. And not even taking into account past lives, okay? Only thinking about this life, how many things we still have to settle, and they are visible. And the main reason I remember that story about Shashiban was because just after a few days, and again, a few days can be 1 month or two, I don't know. But it was around the same time that happened, that conversation happened. Baba said in the movie, Baba talked about that in the movie. And I don't remember the exact words, but he was saying how at least we should settle all our debts. That was the minimum we should have. And that's something quite important because that's an unfinished business that can pull your intellect, even so you don't realize. Because you promise someone something, or someone promised to you something. You have an expectation. Someone has an expectation about you. And you are trying to make effort. You're trying to do a very good Amritivela. You're trying to be very focused on Baba, focused on the Murli, Focus on Baba's message tomorrow, what he's going to say, what he's going to share with us. And you are trying your best, you're impossible even, but you have everything there pulling you away from that. So you do lots of effort, but it's like trying to row a boat, but the anchor is still there, it's tightening, or the rope is still tightening the boat to the land. So you can row as fast as you can, and you feel you're progressing because you start to have muscles. No, if you row a lot, so you start to have some muscles. Your spirituality increases. You know more about Gyan. Your yoga improves. Even so, Baba was telling today that our yoga is just 2%, but still, you're doing your best. You're doing your best, more than best. But those things are still pulling you. So that unfinished business can can catch you at some point. I remember a story. He was a very good brother. We are very close. When I came to Gyan, he was a senior brother. That time, senior brother means 2 years in Gyan. Just imagine how long ago it was. Yeah, he was about 2 or 3 years in Gyan. But he went to Madhva, so that, oh, wow, went to Madhva. That was impossible for us. And really, he was so clean. He gave lots of energy, to us. Baba even gave him a name. He never adopted the name, but Baba gave him a name. And one day he learned. He didn't know. He had a son, a child. He never knew about that. That just broke him down. He left Baba, he left the center, he left Baba, he left any contact. I saw him later, you know. Physically, he looked the same, but the shine, that glow he used to have, it was not there anymore. And he was a senior brother. Okay, he had a son, and so what? I mean, it's one mouth more to give money, to take care, etc. But it doesn't matter because we are not forbidding to have that. But somehow that broke down the soul internally. And I never understood why. Why? He could just take his son to the Brahmin family. The Brahmin family would pamper the son. They would give the son the best tolis, the best of everything. You know, that son will be spoiled a lot by the BK family. But no problem. And yet, so what happened? He had that unfinished business. And that unfinished business, which was not the son, it was not the son's mother. It was something internal that was not solved, really. And that's why this unfinished business, the external unfinished business, they trap many Brahmins I know. I know one soul who had such a money that he just left Baba. The other souls, they have that with other souls. So they got married, you know. All these things that happened, it was not that person, it was not the money, it was not the thing, it was something internally. There was some sanskars that we learned because we are very good as Brahmins. We are so clever. So we learn how to handle those difficult sanskars, right? We know that, right? Don't you know? Oh, no. So when there is a sanskar that you emerge like this, you just, and you start to smile. when you feel jealousy, so Maria brings a pot of olives and she shows me, so it generates greed or envy. But I know how to manage those sanskars. So most of the sanskars of this life, and that's the secret here, most of the sanskars of this life, we know how to handle. Oh, we should know. I mean, we are big in age, we are big in Gyan age. I mean, come on. Okay. So we should have learned how to deal with those sanskars. So you cannot talk to that person. You have to sleep at a certain time. You know all the things that can create trouble for you. You know, we all know. That's the reality. We all know. But what about the sanskars from past lives? Sanskars that for some reasons they don't manifest in this life. I was a woman, maybe not in a past life, maybe 2 lives ago. I don't know, maybe even the past life. I was not born in Brazil. I was born somewhere else. Um, so those sanskars, they are not needed here. There are some sanskars they are not needed in those places. Now I have seen one of the things you see a lot is people who are living, who are born in one country and they want to go to live in another country. So in the other country, they behave totally differently. So one day I was in Tijuana. Tijuana is the border with United States, and to cross the border was very easy. I don't think it is easy now, but it was very easy. So we went to Los Angeles. So we left very early in the morning. So we arrived in Los Angeles. We had Thanksgiving, I think it was. It was very nice, very beautiful. Guitar band, wonderful soul, very, very great soul. So Rosie, the soul from Tijuana, she took me there. And on the way back it was the same trip. But then something happened. When we reached the border with Mexico, so all the cars, they were behaving, they were fine. As soon as they cross the border of Mexico, they start to come in front of each other. They start to go to the sides. They start to do crazy. And I asked her, what's happening here? Is there any problem? She said, no, they just came to Mexico, so now they can act as at home. So there are some sanskars of past lives that we don't use now, but they are in us. And this is the big problem in terms of unfinished business. That's the third thing. Is that unfinished business that you don't have any idea. You don't know at all. It just comes. And you have created that, you have that from past lives, 3 lives ago, 10 lives ago, and they just come now. So what to do now? I'm an expert with the sanskars of this life. So to reach a point of unfinished business in this life is more of a question of effort, discipline, study, lots of service, blessings from many people, talking to seniors. So there is a formula already. It's quite easy. But to what about things from past lives? What about things that we are not ready? We don't know what to do about this. Then what will happen? And those are the corners of the soul. That's the topic today. That you don't even know you have a problem there. You don't even know there is something wrong about that. Because you don't remember. You don't do it. I mean, you don't do it anymore. So I don't remember what is it to have a baby. I don't know. I'm single. I don't have babies in this life, not even as a father, much less as a mother. So I don't have any idea how is it. So it's kind of tricky, but it's also that part of the unfinished business that you probably will be the biggest obstacle we have. So there is one story about one sister. It's an interesting story because that story also Dadi Gulzar told about another sister from India many years ago. But this sister, she's from Latin America. So she got cancer and she was in terminal stage. So they were taking care of her very well, in fact. And but one day she wanted to eat something from the streets or from the shop. You know, I'm Brazilian. I don't know if there is any Brazilians around, but Brazilians we love bread, and especially bread from bakery. Most of the bakeries they are from Portuguese people, so I guess it's the same bread, and they are so tasty. And no matter how a Brahmin can cook a good bread, can bake a good bread, it will never reach that point. Never. And I understand that sister very well because I am from the same place there. You know? So she want to eat that bread. But what? How? That's not baked by Brahmins. So what to do? Well, she was in her final stage, so you cannot deny. So they went around because mostly they cooked that bread with pork, you know, the grease of the pork. So they had to find somewhere where they were using butter or they were using normal oil, and they found. So they bought that bread and they gave her. Well, she was in such a bad stage. I don't think she ate much, probably just a little piece like that. You know, it was not much. But that shows the power of unfinished business. So imagine one sanskar that you didn't solve in that life, you didn't solve in this life, and you are finishing your life as a Brahmin. Maybe not the big karmatit, but the small karmatit. You're going to another body. But still, you have that pull. You still have that sanskar. So that sanskar will prevent you to really have a safe departure, a beautiful departure, because you'll be trapped. And that's the thing we have to be careful about. There is a plane coming over here. I don't know if you are listening to the plane. Sorry about that. We told the planes to not come over here today. Um, and the nice thing is that one thing is are the things you know. So I know I have a problem with that person. So I have to deal with that problem. And we Brahmins know how to do it. You talk to that person, or you tell a senior, and the senior helps you to talk to that person, or you can't talk to that person. So you just send good vibrations, you just send good wishes. No, Baba's Murli on Sunday, no, give good wishes and take good wishes. So that's the main thing you can do. But what about that person that you met 200 years ago, and for some reason you never met her again? And still there is something between you two to settle. You cannot go to Parandam with that debt. And maybe it is very heavy. It's not good. So what to do about that? Well, there is not a solution, but there are a few things we can do. First, always take on Shrimat. Always ask for advice from Baba about the situations you go through. Always. Just 2 years ago, I had one situation. I thought I could handle myself. So I did it myself. It was not selfish. It was for service. But still, I thought I didn't need to ask someone. Oh, it all went wrongly, very wrongly. And then I had to talk to a senior. So I called the senior, I explained the situation. And really, the senior, he probably said the same I was thinking. But it was like a click in my mind. Because of sometimes we have a Western mentality, you go to someone to talk. And if that person tells you what you already know, you don't give the value. So Didi Mohini, many years ago, she was telling us, or Genti Didi also, she told us the same. When we talk to a senior, it's not only the advice, it's those blessings. The senior, when they give you a response, the senior is blessing you, is giving you such a beautiful energy, power. So the difference is in those blessings. And why that? Because if I don't follow Shrimat, it's very, very certain that one day or another, I'm going to meet the person I'm owing something, or I'm going to meet the person who owes me something from past lives. And the karmic account will, emerge like a ghost. The word for that and the word for ghost in Hindi, they're quite close. And so we have to be very careful. The first thing is follow Shriman. Second, talk to Baba, especially in Amritivela. Talk to Baba about the situations you are going through, but also just be there with Baba. Just let Baba gives you touching in your intellect. Dadi Kumarka, when she went to Shantivan, she had to move out from Pandavavan, and they gave her a little house, and the house was just at the gate of Shantivan, in fact. Later, the gate became two other gates. That gate is, I think it's closed. But that Kumarka was there because she wants to see everyone coming. She wants to be there on the way of everyone. And they put Baba's room in her bedroom or in her house, She didn't have a Baba room before. And she used to tell us how every day she used to go to Baba, sit there, and just wait for Baba giving her touching in the intellect. Because we don't know what is coming today. If you think about karmic account as debt, credit, so like a financial movement, the karmic bank would be probably the worst bank in the world because they don't give you notice when they charge you. So you don't know when you have to settle a karmic account. It would be wonderful if a message came in WhatsApp telling, be careful, today you have a karmic account to settle at some place, at such situation. So we don't have that luxury. But if you are in touch with Baba, especially in Amityville, but not only, you have the touching. So there is the story about this brother. This brother was, in Delhi, they used to have very old brothers, very old, there was a kind of old family that they are not there anymore, basically. I think there is one or two, but there used to be an old family there. So one of these brothers, he was telling the story that he was invited for some BK function somewhere else. And he had a Baba's room in his place. So he was going to that party. It was a party, no? So he was going to that party. So he went to Baba's room, he sat down on the floor, and Baba told him, don't go. So it's not that Baba told him, there was not voice. It's just the feeling, Baba touched him that he shouldn't go. He got up and he was confused what to do now. I mean, that time there was no cell phone, no WhatsApp. You could tell everyone, I'm not going, sorry. So he was committed already, and people were waiting for him. They were expecting him. So he went back to Baba's room and he started to have a discussion with Baba. He started to explain to Baba, but the response was always no, 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 no. And he went. Imagine, he went. He got his motorcycle and he went because he couldn't see how to tell people that he was not going. So on the way to that place, he suffered an accident on the road. So that was the reason he shouldn't have gone. In fact, Baba protected him. And when the accident happened, a BK car was coming just there. So the BKs went there, they took him, Some people helped him with the motorcycle. And so it was safe. Because we don't know the situations, so we have to follow Shrimat. But we also have to be with our intellect open. Baba, what should I do now? What should I do in this case? Last example, I have so many examples about that. Following the touching and not following the touch. I have both examples. The not following the touching always end up in a bad situation. But I went for the American visa. It's been very hard to get American visa. So I went there. I was in the queue. I had to have an interview with someone. And then I saw a lady interviewing another person. And I felt I should go there. I don't know. I just felt I should go there. But when my turn came, it was obvious that they were sending me to someone else. Baba helped, and I went to that person. And it was so beautiful and so quick, so quick. I took like 3 minutes, not even more than that. So that's the magic of Baba's touching. The third thing, well, sometimes you don't have access to Shrimat. That may happen. There is Shrimat in the Muli, yes. But you have to have a very, 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 very many more varies, refined intellect to get Shrimat from the Muli, especially in mundane things, Sometimes you don't get touching from Baba. And in one Muli at least, Baba said, I'm not here to respond to your questions. He said that. So it's not always that he'll give you the response. So the third possible, what you can do is using ancestors as an example. How do they finish their business? What did they do? And we have all the examples. We have Daddy Yankee, who slowly she pushed a little bit Sister Gente ahead. So Sister Gente started to take over more and more and more and more and more and more. So one day she was able to leave London and there was someone there. So you can take other examples like Ramesh Bhai. Ramesh Bhai, he was working, I think, 3 or 4 years before he left the body. And his work was heavy, it's when you deal with money, accountant, it's very, very complicated, And so what he did was very special. He didn't split logic and unlocking. For him was one thing. In fact, his office, the BKs used to work there. So the national account of Brahma Kumaris, I'm talking about, I don't know, 20 years ago, was at his office. So they used to do there, everything there, you know. So the BKs used to work with lucky people all together there and dealing and settling with everything. And so everything was working fine. So it's another example. So we have to think about, well, what Anthony Strano will do in this situation. If he had to face these things, what would he do? Because that will give us at least a reference about what to do in these things. It's a very useful reference if you don't have access to Shrimad, if you can't get a touching from Baba. There is a last thing you can do also. You can always meditate before starting any task. Baba was giving the example of today now of a tailor sewing the clothes. And during sewing the clothes, the tailor can connect with Baba. But Baba will never tell that example in terms of a doctor. No, if you are a surgeon and you are making an operation on another person, you can remember Baba. He'll never tell the example because the intellect there has to be in that situation only. So there are situations in which you can do like I'm giving the class and I can remember Baba because you are all BK, so there is no problem. Yeah. But if I'm doing a logic job here and I'm talking with people, companies, then I have to remember Baba before. My intellect will be there, totally commit to that. And then at the end, you can let go and think of Baba again. So that Baba used to call the exercise. Go into the sound, leave the sound. Go into the sound, leave the sound. So in that way, what will happen is that you connect your intellect with Baba before using your intellect in the logic things, in the mundane things. So you can have a touching of Baba, or you can just have a feeling of what to do if this happens or if that happens. There is a fourth type of unfinished business, and it's the most logic one, is that thing that's very obvious that you have to settle. But we don't have time anymore, I guess. But it's the obvious. So I'll just give an example in a joke. So there is this joke I heard many years ago. So the joke talk about a man. So the man is in the bed, so he's dying. And his family is surrounding him. So he starts to say with very feeble voice, my wife, where are you? Because he can't see, properly. So the wife, I'm here, my husband. Oh, good. Where is my first son? So he starts to call all the members of the family. And they all respond to him. They were all there. So at the end, he said, okay, you are all here, so now I can go. Wait, who is taking care of the shop? So there are some unfinished business that they are so obvious that we should finish. So I see Gloria there, translate me for Portuguese. So they told me to speak slowly. If I don't speak slowly, it's my fault. That's an unfinished business that I can solve by slowing my pace. So there are some unfinished business that you don't need to not even get into that. Why are you going to argue about politics? Why are you going to talk about your health situation to everybody? Why are you going to... So this is the last one, the one in which there are things which are very gross and they really pull you because they are there. So you are a mother and you are supposed to give a gift in Christmas for your child. It's obvious you have to do that. So if you don't do that because you are Brahmin, so I don't create karma for the people, so that's an unfinished business because your son or your daughter will just think of you as the person who didn't give you gift. And because you are BK, so they will just think about Baba, Shiv Baba, as the one who prevent his mother, his father, their father to give them gift. So these are little things you don't need to get into, but we get into a lot. We Brahmins we end up to be experts of that. I know Brahmins who have used pyramid, they have given money to companies, so 6 months later they would get 20% profit. That's unreal. You don't get 20% profit, you know? So there are things that souls do, BKs do that we think, I mean, come on, what? What did you do there? So many stories. I cannot even tell here. But so be careful about those things, which are obvious. So don't get into what you don't have to be in. Just be careful. Okay, is that okay, Maria? Okay.
Yes, that was perfect. That was the fourth you said now, huh?
This was
So,
I said just three, maybe four. So this is
okay, because somebody wants one more, the fifth.
now the fifth is to complete. That's it.
Okay. Well, it was really very powerful, whatever you shared, and we need it because sometimes we never understand why the situation or a relationship with somebody. You think everything is okay, and then all of a sudden something changes, and you don't know why. But yes, that made it very clear right now. I don't see any questions here,
Well,
but
the fifth one, if there is no question, the fifth one was with the yagya, with the sustenance of the seniors. But I thought it was too much for this session. But that's another one, the seniors, they have given a lot to us. The yagya has given a lot to us. And we have to give back somehow. But that's a different type of unfinished business because we are family and really everything is with Baba. All our deals are with Baba. But still, there is that. Baba sometimes mentioned the return of love, you know, all those things. But that would be the fifth, but I thought it's too much.
yeah, this is another question. Do we have a karmic account with Baba?
No, we don't. But but there is a but there. So it's not that we don't have a karmic account with Baba. Baba doesn't have any karmic accounts because Baba cannot be born. I mean, he's totally beyond. So he doesn't have a good or bad karmic account. He doesn't create karma, really. Okay? But there is something. So Baba sometimes talks about, and recent movies, Baba was talking about how those who did more devotion, they become Brahmins, for instance. So it's not a physical type of karmic account. It's not a karmic account in terms of exchange. I give, I take. But it's more a subtle one. It's a karmic account in terms of I gave my life to God for many lives. So now God gives him his life. Let's say God gives all this sustenance to me right now. The other example that comes to my mind is when Didi Mohini, she was talking many years ago why can't a very very rich person come to Baba? And it happened now that in our meeting of the Americas in Madhuban, someone stood up and said, someone wants to give $100,000 to the Yagya, what to do? And she was saying something very interesting. She was saying, whatever someone gives to Baba, we have to give back as yagya. And she used to mention a couple. This couple, they gave a house to Baba in one place. And from that place, many other places emerged. And, and she said, and especially the wife was very her, you know. She was, I never had any interaction with her, but the stories I heard about her, they are not stories. I really didn't get into stories, but I know she was tough. She was tough with Brahmi. She used to yell at Brahmins, etc. And but she said we had to take care of her until the end because of that. So it's not a proper karmic account in the sense of exchanging, but when you give Baba something, so let's understand. So we give Baba something. Everything we give that Baba has to give us, Baba won't give us. He will keep that for Satyug and Treta Yuga. So this is the inheritance we are creating for those two ages. So all the service I have done in more than 40 years, they are waiting for me there in Golden Age and Silver Age. Now, when there is charity, like this couple who gave a house, and they are not from a rich country, they are not from a very rich country. So when they gave the house, then that's charity. And the charities, the laws are different. So they have to receive in this life everything they need. And the third thing is devotion. So the person who did more devotion, but devotion here is not going to the church and do this very quick and pray very quick and go away. No, devotion means the person became a nun, monk, they built temples, they do lots of things. So that devotion, the fruit of devotion, so Baba doesn't talk much about an account, but the fruit of devotion is that they meet Baba. Even the big important people, looking important people that met Baba when Baba used to come. So that means they did something in their past lives. That's why they met Baba. That's the reason. So it's not a proper karmic account, but there is something we have to give back to Baba. If we don't give back to Baba in terms of sustenance, so we are not creating a charity. And because we are not creating charity, we will miss that. Like during destruction, all of us want to have water. All of us want to have food. All of us want to have a roof over our head. We want protection, and we'll be in the middle of destruction. So these will come from all the charity I did in terms of giving Baba more than he gave me. So it's like the response to him. Okay? Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. There is another question. What does Baba mean when he says don't have a give and take with Lokic people?
Mm. Baba talks that in two different senses, in two different meanings. The first meaning is, and if you explore the Murlis, if you study Murlis, you'll see that Baba is talking to the surrendered souls. So the surrendered life is very tough. Dadi Ratamohini, she was in charge of the surrendered teachers in India and brothers when I met her many years ago. So she used to be in charge of that. And someone was telling me what they used to give. So they used to receive clothes for brothers. That's quite recently. So let's say someone surrenders to Baba. So the Yagya just give them one pair of clothes. That's it. For after 1 year. After 2 years, they give them another pair of clothes. And so it's very little. It's very little. Last year, I had an interesting experience in India. So I was in a village, a small place near Delhi. No, I don't think people know that Delhi has 150 villages. So I was in one of those villages. And the sister in charge of the center there, I asked for yogurt if it was possible. And they said, okay, I'll bring you yogurt. She was so happy because she could have yogurt herself, because she lives from what people give. She cannot have anything that people don't give her. So it's a very, very tough life. So because it's tough, the temptation is very big. You know, that I go and call someone, please bring me yogurt, bring me cheese, bring me something I like. Or I have my clothes are not enough. Can you bring me more? So that's the first meaning. Bob is talking directly to the surrendered souls. In fact, there are three meanings. The second meaning is that every time we receive a gift from someone Lokik, I will remember that person. Necessarily, I'm going to think of that person. So I have to be careful with that. So the third is there are situations that you have to receive from people things. So there is a very funny story about Ratan Mohinidadi when she went to Russia, because of it's not daddy, no, but she goes with someone. And that person was not an expert in terms of traveling. So when they reached Russia, so the sister there was telling me that they were not so well because they didn't drink any water, they didn't eat anything during the trip, nothing. And so the sister asked, but did you ask the steward to have water? And they didn't know they could ask because Baba says to not ask anyone. So she had to go with them back to India. So she could ask, can I have some water here? Can I have some things? So so that means we are always exchanging things with lucky people. So what's the protection? So Daddy Yankee, for instance, she used to give them knowledge to people. She used to give Toli, blessing. So everyone who serves us, we should send vibration. The people, we are internet here, no? We are using Zoom. So you should give lots of vibrations to the people from that company, Zoom company. So in this way, we settle kind of that exchange and we give them something very valuable. So I hope it's okay. Yeah.